Okay, now when it comes to attachments on the clavicle, you have a superior surface of the clavicle. Sorry, you have a superior surface of the clavicle and an inferior surface, which I have drawn here, which I have shown here. This is the superior surface and this is the inferior surface of the clavicle. Then on the medial half, like, you have an anterior surface actually, because it's thick, and a posterior surface. Then laterally, since the bone gets flattened, you can call it an anterior border and a posterior border. It doesn't matter whether you call it surface or border, but remember this point, because the medial end is wider. Okay, and the other point is the inferior, the superior surface is smooth, you know that, and the inferior surface is rough because of the attachment of muscles and important ligaments. Now when it comes to attachments to the clavicle, on the medial end, the superior surface, the sternocleidomastoid is attached. Clavicular head to the sternocleidomastoid is attached. Then there's a ligament which is called the interclavicular ligament. Between the two clavicles it is attached. Then to the anterior surface, now the medial 2/3 of the anterior surface is convex to the anterior side. To that area, the pectoralis major muscle is attached. So you can see the attachment in both views. Okay, superior view and inferior view. That's what I have shown here. Okay. Then the deltoid is attached to the lateral end of the bone on the anterior border here. Then the trapezius is attached to the lateral end of the bone on the posterior border. Then between the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius, enclosing the two muscles, you get the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, which you will learn when you do the neck. So in between the two muscles, it is attached to the smooth superior surface here. Then on the inferior surface, here you have the subclavius muscle attached between the clavicle and the first rib, subclavius. And on the inferior surface, at the medial end, you get the costoclavicular ligament attached between the costal cartilage of the first rib and the inferior surface of the clavicle. Then here laterally, you get an important ligament which is called the coracoclavicular ligament, which has two parts, the conoid part and the trapezoid part. Conoid part and the trapezoid part. It's an important ligament, especially when it comes to the fracture of the clavicle. Then enclosing the subclavius muscle, you have the clavipectoral fascia. Encircling the subclavius, you have the clavipectoral fascia. It continues down. If you have the subclavius like this, you get the clavipectoral fascia enclosing it and moving down to form the suspensory ligament of the axilla, which is attached to the before it gets attached, it has to encircle the pectoralis minor muscle. Okay, encircles the pectoralis minor muscle, and so if the muscle is here, and then forms the suspensory ligament of the axilla, which is attached to the deep fascia of the floor of the axilla here. Okay, and the part of the clavipectoral fascia that encloses the subclavius here fuses with the periosteum. If this is your clavicle, it fuses with the periosteum of the clavicle.